Hello, it's Brian Rezny, president of Rezny Wealth Management, bringing you an important update about the economy and the investment markets. Well, the year's off to actually a pretty decent start. Net, a lot of the overall indices in the U.S. are actually positive. Not all, but quite a few. If I look at other countries around the world, most of those are actually still negative. We are not invested overseas. We're currently invested strictly in the U.S., and we plan on staying there at least for the time being. Of course, we're always doing research. We're looking at not only our economy, but world economies, the bond market, the stock market, gold, oil, silver, you name it. We're looking at all asset categories all the time. But ultimately, what really matters is how the economy grows. Let me give you a little bit of great news that actually came out this morning, and really this has been in the works for a number of months by our current president. Officially, Peter Navarro announced this morning that they are working with Kodak out of Rochester, New York, in order to bring back about 25% of our drug production and manufacturing back to the U.S. That's impressive news. What they're basically doing is they're going to take this huge facility out in Rochester where they have all the necessary needs and supplies and basically start manufacturing drugs and the supply chains for those and the chemicals and ingredients right here in the good USA. There's going to be more of that over time and more deals will be struck. What does that mean for the U.S. economy? This is only one big deal. There'll be many more. Ultimately, as I've talked before, never bet against the U.S. economy, ever. While we may have volatility, we might see a 10 or 15% drop again this year. Ultimately, we see greener pastures ahead, not only towards the end of this year, but 2021. We're going to have massive deals within the U.S. Supply chains, not only drug related, but all types of manufacturing are ultimately going to come back to the U.S. It's going to help our economy immensely. One of the things that needs to be worked on, and I've talked about this again repeatedly, is legal immigration. We need more workers and good workers. Currently, we bring in about 1 million people a year legally into the U.S. In fact, we are the most favorable immigration policies around the world. But we probably need to increase that over time, but it needs to be really rules-based. People that have the skills and the desire to become a true American and really help contribute to our society and our economy. I hope that's going to happen. Our estimation is we probably need between 3, maybe 5 million a year of legal immigrants in this country versus 1 million. Because ultimately, as these supply chains come back, all types of manufacturing, not only drug related, but all types of manufacturing, we're going to need people to do the job. And by the way, drug manufacturing, very skilled, high-paying, quality jobs. These are not $10 an hour jobs. Many of these could be $50,000 to $100,000 to $150,000 jobs over time. So again, the U.S. is the place to be invested currently. We are looking at other parts of the world if there's opportunity. We have limited exposure, generally speaking, on duration, meaning longevity, of bonds in our client portfolios. Our biggest risk, the biggest risk we see ultimately, is low interest rates. For investors who have too much money in bonds. Now, having some money in bonds is quality within the portfolio for volatility purposes, risk management purposes, because again, not everybody wants a tremendous amount of volatility. Maybe you're willing to accept a little bit less return for less volatility. That's normal. But bonds in general, and we're seeing this not from our clients, of course, because we are managing the bond exposure appropriately for our clients, but we're seeing a lot of calls, not only my TV, radio show, but just calls into the office, people who are hiring our firm, referrals from clients like you, where their friends are coming to us, and they're like, you know what? The last 4 or 5 years, even though things were decent, haven't been that great for them. Part of the problem, these big brokerage firms, banks, and insurance companies have what we call dummy down the portfolio, meaning they try to eliminate or reduce too much risk, which basically gives you no opportunity, in our opinion, to make a return. Volatility is going to be normal. expect more volatility as we get into the second half of the year. Do we see a big pullback again this year? We really don't. But again, anything's possible. But ultimately, we see positive outcomes by the year end. We see manufacturers that are in stage 3 trials for the coronavirus drug that basically is going to be going to help ultimately. The people are a little bit more nervous about vaccinations and so on. That will be coming well before year end, in our opinion, and from these stage 3 trials. So lots of positives for the U.S. economy, lots of positives for our clients. But as always, if you have any questions, any concerns, give me a call at the office. Let's talk on the phone. If you have any friends, relatives, business associates that need a quality investment management firm, we always appreciate your business and your referrals. Think about us. Have a safe and profitable day.